A couple of down big name programs get together in the swamp this Saturday as Florida hosts LSU. We got Steve Merrill on the line as we typically do and deliver these segments each Thursday and Friday right here at the Voice of College Football. So not just on this particular channel, but scan the channels and you will find our segments with Steve across the board. You can catch Steve's complete work at wagertalk.com. LSU in Florida, the Gators roughly a field goal favorite at home.
Yeah, I do a top 25 preview video for Wager Talk TV, wagertalk.com every Friday night. And LSU made the cut last week. They were 25th in the AP poll. So I talked about them in that Tennessee game. And I mentioned my power ratings actually favored them outright last week. And I thought that was a good spot for LSU. But obviously when they lost, when the opening kickoff was fumbled and Tennessee runs it in for a touchdown, they go up 7-0 instantly. I knew it was going to be a long day for the Tigers. They're not a team that could trade points with Tennessee. They're not an explosive offensive team by any means, but they're a good defensive team. This is a team that still, even after giving up 40 last week, allows just 19 on the season. With that said, though, they've now fallen out of the top 25. Both these teams, as you mentioned, Mark, are having difficult seasons. Despite being 4-2 straight up, difficult seasons for these programs that have national title hopes when they enter. And they're both just 3-3 against the spread. So what do we do with this game? I mean, first, let's look at the math. My power ratings in this one favor Florida by 2 points. The current line is around 2.5, 3, so pretty much in line with my power ratings. I think motivationally, maybe a tough spot for LSU after that blowout to Tennessee. But the fact that they were out of the game early and never really in it, I think maybe it doesn't linger as much. Florida, meanwhile, a lackluster win against Missouri. They were a 10-point favorite. They won by only 7. And keep in mind, that could have been a real flat spot for Missouri. They were coming off some tough games. So not too impressed with Florida's win last week. The week before that against Eastern Washington, they were a 31-point favorite. Fortunate maybe to beat Utah in week 1. They, of course, lost outright to Kentucky as a home favorite. Barely beat South Florida as a 3-touchdown favorite. And then also lost to Tennessee. They're a little more respectable in that loss. So, I mean, the head-to-head common opponents would favor Florida just because they were better against Tennessee. But once again, I don't want to read too much into last week's loss. When Tennessee got up quick in that game, it was really tough for LSU. This one's a tough call for me. My power rating's right around 2.5 to 3, which is the current line. I think there's better games on the board. We did about 10 other previews on the other channels here. I recommend people check those out, including my Under the Radar Best Bet on Patreon.
And there it is right there on the banner. Go to patreon.com, search Mark Rogers TV. You get Steve's Under the Radar selection, 5-1 against the spread through the first 6 weeks of the season. You get a Discord link where you can talk college football all the time, nonstop, and you get my picks as well. Join Steve on wagertalk.com and get the full array of selections, information, and his money management system. Steve, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mark.